Football with friends. It's fun as hell. My name is Alex Dunlap here with Cody Carpentier on a big Friday, a Final Takes Friday here on Orange Bloods Live. So pumped up to be here with you today. Got a bunch to get to today. Jam-packed show after having to miss the show yesterday with some other things that we had going on. But Cody, we're back. We have a ton to get to, and we have concerning news about Jvon Osborne, our favorite 2026 running back in the state.
Yeah. I mean, not great for those out there that are Jaylen Osborne fans or with thought that Jaylen Osborne was going to be a take. And I think we were under the same impression that the team probably had him as their top back on their board. Obviously, we talked about Crowell a couple weeks ago, or last week, I should say, right before Tashard Choice departed for the Lions job. And the response from the other running backs, which was KJ Edwards and Jvon Osborne, were positive. Like, hey, hook him. Like, we'll wait and see what happens. And now tonight, we get an update from Jvon Osborne that he will no longer be taking his visit on June 13th. I reached out to him. I asked if this was a schedule conflict or if it was a cancellation. He confirmed it was a cancellation for the official. I said, will there be an unofficial? He said, I'm not sure if I'll make it back to campus at all. So the Tashard Choice thing did have something to do with it. I'll just leave it at that, but that was the update. And so it looks like no Jvon Osborne, at least for now, unless something changes.
Have you posted those details on the board that you have quotes from Javian?
Yeah, I did. I posted them. Jason made a post, but he didn't use them. It's like in the comments of the post. So they're up there though. They're on the board.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's something they're going to want to know. That's interesting. And then you said you believe it has something to do with the Tashard Choice, the treatment of the Tashard.
I don't believe that. I know that. I'm just saying, like, that's just where I'm going to cut the line at. I asked him his thoughts, but they were partially off the record. So it will just say that the choice thing did have something to do with it. We'll just put it.
With the handling of the Tashard. So let's just say that he from his end, it has something to do with the handling of the Tashard Choice situation. So what is Texas supposed to do? It wasn't like they fired Tashard Choice.
No, I mean he left. Like I think I wrote this way on the board is that there's multiple. Some people in the comments were like, on to the next one, whatever, next guy, and I said, like, seems like he's a modest and humble individual. That's what somebody wrote in the comments. And I said, he's modest and humble. Don't get it twisted. This is a good dude, but you got to remember that there's multiple sides to every story, every departure. The only people that know everything about everything in each situation, the only people that know everything about Tashard Choice leaving is Tashard Choice. Yeah. The only people that know everything that the coaching staff knows about how everything went about Tashard Choice leaving is those that took the information from Tashard Choice when he said, I'm going to take a visit, I'm going to depart. Like, there's so many different stories from every different angle that, I would say, hypothetically, if you're Tashard Choice, the first thing you're going to do is not reach out to all of the recruits. I would say that the first thing you're going to do
if you're Tashard Choice.
If you're Tashard Choice and you're like thinking about departing the school, is what I'm saying. If you're thinking about departing and going to the Lions job, who are you going to talk to? You're going to talk to Sark, your wife, and the Lions. Like that's probably your. Right?
Cody, this might make me seem like a bad person, but the last people I'm calling are the recruits at my old school.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's the first people. The first line of defense is head coach Sark, wife, and
it's wife first.
Well, you know what I'm saying. I'm just saying like that's
very well.
Those are together. I'm not saying like I'm not ranking them. I'm saying that's the first line of defense is wife, head coach of current team, head coach of next team. That's the line of defense of like, hey, I'm going to take a visit. Those three people probably know, obviously, and then it happens, and then you go from there, and maybe there wasn't a conversation. Maybe there was no conversation once Choice took that job between him and the recruits. That could be. I don't know. I'm not saying that.
But why would Jvon Osborne get mad at a Tashard Choiceless Texas for the way that Tashard Choice acted?
I don't know. I'm not saying it's because of Tashard Choice. I'm saying that his departure had something to do with it. I have no idea.
The handling of it.
Again, I never said the handling of it. I'm just saying Tashard Choice.
But Cody, something changed because after he left, he posted Jvon Osborne posted on X that he's like, he's like, whatever, we'll see what happens, all good, right? And then just yesterday, his dad, was saying something about there was somebody saying that like, well, maybe he's trending towards Michigan, or I forgot what it was. Somebody saying this, and his dad posted, and he said like somebody doesn't know what they're doesn't know what they're talking about or whatever. And so I'm not saying that you said the handling of it, but I'm saying it seems like something had to have been something changed. And so to me, it feels like there was. Because he had for a while and up till yesterday, even his dad was saying, it's like, no, man, like this is capped as far as him venturing away from Texas, right? But then today, and so I just wonder, it's like, what could have happened? Because nobody at Texas is going to tell us.
Yeah.
Do you think? Well, let me ask you this: if you're the head coach at the University of Texas and you're having to deal with this, do you wait?
What's the king of everything? Communication is king. That's one of my favorite sayings. Communication is king. And some people, if you don't communicate well with them, some things just go sideways. That's life. I don't know if they communicated with him. I don't know if Choice did. I don't know if I don't know anything of that side of things. That's what I'm saying. There's multiple sides to every story. All I'm saying is, I asked him if the Choice departure had anything to do with it. He said it did. He said he will not be taking an official visit. I said, will you be taking a spring visit unofficially? He said, I don't even know if I'll do that.
I wonder if maybe now, do you know whose first order of business it would be to call everybody that was being recruited? Would be Chad Scott.
Well, Chad Scott didn't have a job until yesterday, right?
Timelines kind of line up.
Yeah, but
that conversation didn't go as well as Chad Scott would have hoped.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of math equates. You can simply add, I mean, there was no updates on Osborne other than taking he has a Miami official planned, and then there was some Michigan helium the last couple of days. But yeah, there's been really nothing about Texas other than him saying kind of wait and see until Chad Scott was hired, obviously, yesterday.
Gosh. Well, I will say this. Plenty of ball game left.
Would you I just got this was a question I just got on Orange Bloods. A poster said, do you think Choice made him a promise that he wasn't going to the NFL after the Cowboys interview? I don't think a coach would make that promise.
No, even if he did, I don't see why that doesn't change the fact that even after he left, the kid was acting like everything was cool still. And today, for some reason, things aren't cool anymore. And he says he's not even sure if he's going to come in the spring. And he's definitely not coming for his official. You know what I mean? I just don't understand why it'd be like those timelines don't add up. He knew whenever Tashard Choice left. I mean, I would just answer that poster and say, well, what do you even mean? Like that timeline doesn't add up. Mm-hmm. Because if you were to surmise that Jvon Osborne is so tilted that he's left, why wasn't he tilted after he left? For like the 3 days between him tweeting out that it's all fine and it's all good and let's see what happens. And then today, something happened.
Things change. I don't know that like I said, that I don't know how that interesting chat there. Interesting. You just clicked it. Interesting chat here.
It's I mean, J Wags 25. I mean, it's kind of interesting, but why West Virginia was never gonna why would they offer Jvon Osborne? They're never gonna get him.
coming into Texas to try to get. I mean, they have went into. I mean, Chad Scott has a history of recruiting in Texas. Like he recruited DeAndre Washington, but he was at Texas Tech at that time for that 1 year. He did recruit a couple of Texas 4-star, 3-star running backs, but none of Osborne's caliber.
Yeah, I mean, look, Rich Rodriguez at West Virginia is, you know what I mean? That in his first year there, you're not pulling JV, you know? I mean, I understand you shoot for the stars, but you're not pulling Jvon Osborne. Those guys are trying to, you know, those guys have to grind their butts to leather going down through Florida and stuff like that, trying to find these, you know, diamond in the rough 3 stars. You know, I don't think that they expend too many resources on really breaking out the big guns for the Javian Osbornes or the KJ Edwardses of the world in Texas. I don't think that's reasonable.
Glass half full approach from Catch. He says, "You don't give up. Give Scott time. This will look different in May."
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. I mean, there's still plenty of ball game left, and the thing is, if Sark, you know, you don't think a phone call from what about a phone call from Sark? Should there have been a phone call from Sark?
Well, I don't know if there wasn't. You don't know. Like, I mean, of course, that needs to be the next thing that happens if it hasn't happened. I would assume that would happen next. Scott, like if Osborne is the top back on their board, I think that it's not like they're gonna be like, well, I guess we lost. Like it's February 21st. Like I think they're gonna continue to press.
God, man, he's such a good player. I didn't get done with my hike today. When getting no reception to get a call from you about, gosh, changing the title to Jvon Osborne.
Well, we can still talk about our guy Jaylen Gilbo. We'll definitely do that. It's Final Takes Friday. We're here to have fun. No show on Monday, so 3 days off, 3-day weekend for Final Takes. We got the combine all week next week. A lot of good nuggets.
Yeah. So we got this. Let's see here. This guy Zane Shoppa says you're a boring person, Alex. Fix yourself. I'm not sure I'm not sure I get it. One of the first times I've been called boring. I tell you what I have been called. I've been called the world's biggest fan of Texas beef traders.
Hey,
you know, that isn't a lie. I'm going to the Texas beef traders tomorrow, and I'm just going to get a full grip of beef jerky so we can have it up there at the combine. We'll get the QR code up for the beef jerky here in a minute, but just as far as the shop, man, you got to go in there. It's 3 different ranches where you get your beef at Texas beef traders, and it's just the experience that's so good. It's even if the beef wasn't the best in the world, I would want to go in there and just hang out with Darren and just go, you know, have him cook and, you know, drink some wine, drink some sangrias, they got all kinds of awesome ciders and beers, man. Like they want you to learn about the ranches and learn about these intensely awesome cuts of beef that you've never even heard of before. You know, there's this new one that I'm obsessed with called the Terrace Major. It's a petite fillet but it's a fillet that's from I think it's from the shoulder. It's like, what even is this thing? It's the kind of you get the kind of cuts that the butchers take home, right? The ones that they don't even put out there for anybody else to have. At Texas Beef Traders, you always get 10% off when you tell them that you heard about them here. But go there. I would just say, man, take a Saturday afternoon and just go up there and just see what happens right there in the heart of Lakeway. If you can't make it into Lakeway, you live in the Austin area, call them up, get your 10% off, make an order. Darren will bring it to your house. Okay. And for the beef jerky, of course, with the beef jerky, I'll put that QR code up. You can always get that shipped anywhere in the lower 48, all 4 flavors. Texas Beef Traders, TexasBeefTraders.com. All right. Final takes. I didn't put in a Jaylen Gilbo final take, but you mentioned it. Do you have a Jaylen Gilbo final take that you should want to vocally give here?
Well, I mean, the final take has to be just this. Your update from the War Room essentially said that, of note, Jaylen Gilbo is kind of getting the Jade Barron treatment as far as respect for the next level. He's going to be attending the combine this week, or this next week, I should say. And the defense or the coaching staff kind of views him in that way, that they're going to we could see him potentially work outside a little bit. My final take is Jaylen Gilbo will be a Thorpe Award finalist.
They think look, all right, so here's what's going on. So last year, who was it, so this is not a trip. So last week at the Super Bowl, or 2 weeks ago at the Super Bowl, Colin Simmons, Anthony Hill, they went to New Orleans with Athletes First, Dave Mulgeta, the Texas alumni super agent, represents more NFL clients than anybody else. Probably, I mean, talk about rich.
The only agent with over $1 billion in gross contracts.
Thanks to Sean Watson. God.
That'll help you. That'll get you a quarter of the way there.
Man, I'm just like, I can't believe I can't believe that. Like, I know Dave. I've known Dave for 15 years. I remember the first Senior Bowl that I ever went to, and Dave was there too. He was a snot-nosed, just like me. Didn't know what he was doing. Trying to talk with people, get clients, all this stuff. He's out there, just trying to meet everybody, trying to meet media and stuff. And to look at where he is now, and to look at where I am now, I was just like, what went, dude, I feel like I have a great life and I've been successful. I'm just like, but golly, man, it's like, our kids, they had swimming lessons together when they were kind of little babies, all just trying to learn to swim. And you go in there, like, if you have a pool, you want to take your kids to these places wherever, when they're tiny and they've never swum before, you take them and they kind of toss them in the pool and they teach them how to swim and stuff. And Dave's kids, they're the same age as mine. I was talking to him, man. I was like, dude, how, like, well, look at these different paths that we took, brother. It's just like, golly.
Hey, who knows if you would have been an agent if you could have done that, though? I mean, who's
yeah.
to say? I will say, I don't want to put any disrespect on his name. I did say he made the first to make over $1 billion. He's the first to negotiate over $1 billion in one calendar year.
Oh God,
that's what it was. It wasn't just $1 billion, because he's obviously far over that. $1 billion in the last calendar year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Watson alone got him a quarter way to $1 billion, so he's got a lot more than that, considering he's got everybody. He's got Stroud.
Yeah.
But the point is, so they were there with Dave Mulgeta, and they also did a podcast. Has that come out? The Pivot podcast?
No.
With Colin Simmons and Anthony Hill?
No.
So keep an eye out for that. It should be cool to listen to. But then this one is not with like an agency. This is with the Texas SID. And I think last year, Cody, we saw them. I didn't get this from anybody at Texas, but we saw them last year. And last year, what was it, Bond and Ryan Watts that they took?
Well, Watts was at the combine. Watts participated.
Okay, so Watts,
Bond was
Bond was one of them. We saw Bond out with Watts, but we saw some of the Texas dudes. I forgot who else they took last year.
I can't remember, but I know Bond was at dinner with Watts that night. That's when we saw him.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, so Texas always takes 2-3 dudes, right? And it's so you can see the sights and sounds of the combine. You get to kind of see it. You get to see what goes on. And so I was like, so who's going? And they go Anthill and Gilbo. I was like, Gilbo, huh? They're like, yeah, like we're kind of he's kind of getting a little bit of the Jade Barron kind of glow up, And I'm just, like, we think he can make a kind of a similar move to Jade of what he did last year. And I was like, well, wait, are you guys moving to the outside corner? And do you know what? Interestingly to that, I wasn't told no. I wasn't told no. I don't think that they are, but it was like not necessarily. But we just see him as a guy who's going to take a really big step this next year, really burst onto the scene in the same way that Jade Barron did last year. Those are their hopes for Gilbo. They think Gilbo is going to have people inside the program think of Gilbo as a guy that's about to have a monster season. And so I thought that was interesting. It doesn't, it's like, whenever you talk about the Texas defense and who returns on the Texas defense and stuff like that, I don't know how many guys the typical fan or just even the typical person that's like the hyper informed fan that watches this show every night, watches Catch, watches all the YouTube Longhorn stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How many players you would name before how many big key contributors you talk about before you got to Jaylen Gilbo? It's just
I would name I'd name a couple on defense specifically before I get there.
Exactly, right? So just kind of interesting to me. It's interesting to see that I think Thorpe Award finalist is probably, if you had to guess, right, how many get to go? 4?
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and sell.
Right. Yeah. Says extremely bold prediction, Cody, but I can see it. I'm not predicting it. It's just a final take. It's a thought. It's like a thought, right? So final takes. That's where I'm at.
Oh, this is another JWags 25 take. So JWags 25. Again, this is final takes Friday. You guys make sure and
I'll put the voting up.
Make sure and vote for who you think the winner is for the king of final takes heading into Combine week. But no, it would be Wardell Mack if they move Gilbo outside for a few snaps. Who would play nickel? It would be Wardell Mack.
Loser of final takes has to pay for shrimp cocktail.
Okay, that's fine. I'll take you up on that. All right. So that's where I am. Do you think he's going to be a Thorpe Award finalist?
No, I think I'm still Team Taff. If anybody's going to do it, I think it's still going to be Taff. Okay.
What's up next?
I think we got Jose Rodriguez. He says Little John Turntine is my final take of the week. So
Little John.
He gets his in.
Little John and Robin Hood walking through the forest.
Let me give you an off the wall one for the offensive line. You think there's a better chance that Nick Brooks never makes it as a player than there is that he makes it at left tackle?
You think there's a better chance that Nick Brooks never makes it? No, dude. Dude, did you see that picture of Nick Brooks that somebody posted standing next to Kevin Durant?
Yeah.
I'm worried that he's going to, he looks as tall as KD. There's no way.
Yeah, but KD was a little he's a little like this a little bit. I think that angles matter. I think that if you look at the way Brooks is standing like he's at the combine getting measured. And then KD's like after a game, like he's a little, you can hide a couple inches a little bit a different way. I think the kid's still 6'8". I don't think he's like 6'10" or 6'11" or something like people are.
No, man, all right. I gotta wait to see him. I gotta make sure that he's not a complete waist bender. We'll be able to see at some of these practices. If he's working with the twos at left tackle, we'll get to see, good practice reps out of him, even for the 25 minutes that they allow us there. If he's a waist bender, it's like whenever you get up, you get that kind of altitude, you get that tall, you do get worried. It's like we always talk about, man. It's like your strike level, right? It's like to get to that strike level, you got to kind of bend a little bit like this, right? And that's the kind of thing where it's the overextension. It's getting the weight out over the balls of your feet. It's like you do that on an island. We talk about it. You reach, I teach. Boom. Like I'm using your weight against you. Like it's a tale as old as time. And it's what makes guys this is what made the Joe Alt eval last year the easiest thing that I've ever done in my life. Right? I just said he's a mountain of a man. If that guy's really 6'7", 6'8", the fact that he is so completely balanced, he's like the rock of just freaking Gibraltar over here. You know what I mean? Just like unflappable, unmovable. Squats down into his strike angles. Never bends over. It's like that's just like, all right. Well, Alt could be the first pick off the board, and nobody could ever say that it was the easiest eval. Do you remember last year when I was telling you this about Alt? I'm like,
dude, if anybody's ever watched football and they know what they're looking at, Joe Alt is one of the easiest evaluations in the history of the sport.
It was just so super easy, right? And one of the main reasons was he was that big, but he could play that big, right? He could be a functional, not just dominant, awesome player, right? Because whenever you are that big and you can be functional at that size, that's awesome, right?
Mhm.
So if Nick Brooks can be functional at that size, that's awesome. I need to make sure that he's not a waist bender because if he's a waist bender, he's going to be an overextender. If you're a waist bender, you're an overextender, and if you're an overextender, you're going to reach, and if you reach, they teach.
Mhm.
So that's what I'll say about that. But I do think there's a better chance that he makes it as a player. Or wait, there's a better chance that he makes it at left tackle. If he's already working with the twos, I mean that's a pretty encouraging sign. I guess the only guy he really has to work over is Malik Agbo, and I'm not sure that Malik Agbo is long for the program. If you're asking me to be totally honest about it,
If I laid out the path for the next couple of years and I told you my thoughts for the ideal situation at left tackle and right tackle, I'm just going to attach these to this. I put this on Orange Bloods a couple hours ago in one of the threads, talking about Brooks specifically and recruiting and Ojo and all this other stuff. Next year, ideal situation for the next 4 years. All right. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Left tackle Gooseby, right tackle Baker. 2026. Left tackle Ojo, right tackle Baker.
Ideal is Gooseby for 2 years.
2027, left tackle Ojo, right tackle Brooks. 2028, left tackle Ojo, right tackle Brooks. So you get 3 years of Ojo at left tackle, you get 2 years at right tackle for Baker, and 2 years at Brooks at right tackle.
God, we're really talking like Gooseby's 1 year and out, huh?
That tackle class next year is not great.
This one's not great.
This one's not great either, but the next one's not great either. And he's got better length than Banks does. And
I think so.
I think he's more sound than Cam is. And the note that I got yesterday in the war room about Cam was not good. It's what we already knew what Cam brought, and that's why we talked about him going back to Texas. And he obviously didn't. But it was really about basically what the note said was him in the first round is out the window. And we haven't even got to the combine yet. So as far as Gooseby goes, yeah, I do think if he has a above average year next year, which I fully expect, and I could ask you this, you've watched him, obviously you've graded him. He's a guy that can average between 78 and 82 in any week. And if he does that next year all year in the SEC play, there's no reason he doesn't get converse. I talked to somebody, was it a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, that told me that when in their way too early mock this summer that they already plan on having Gooseby in it. Like there's helium there already.
Well, I mean, look at how he played. Look at how, like, I mean, these guys are going to be watching the tape versus Shamar Turner and Shamar Stewart and Nick Scorton and stuff right now, and they're going to look at that tape and say, like, hold on, wait, where's number 78? We thought we're going to get the evaluation reps on Kelvin Banks here, right? Who's this? Who is this 74? What's going on here with this guy? He is 74, right? I think. But that's gonna kill me. He is 74, right?
Yeah, he's 74. Okay. Gooseby is, yeah.
The I mean, they're just gonna be like, oh, well, that was the guy that, he filled in all left tackle and right tackle, and he, yeah, I mean, I think it'd be best to keep Gooseby for 2 years, but Felix Ojo, it's just that guy's. I think I had a final takes question about him. Oh yeah, because there was a note in the war room last night. So final takes. Felix Ojo is now saying that early playing time is important in his recruitment. Is that possible at Texas? Kind of rolls into what you were saying just now as far as your timeline for 2026, 2027.
Contextually, yes, that's obvious. Like, as far as that goes, like, and that could come down to the wire. I mean, I don't know what Felix's plan is for committing, if he's going to plan to commit in August or September or push it till December, but it would be something that would become more clear, obviously, I think, as like October, November rolls around and you see how Gooseby's playing and you're like, all right, that cat looks like he's going round one. That door is going to be wide open. And the kid behind him is Nick Brooks, who to our knowledge right now, is 6'8", 330, 40 pounds. So I think I can beat him out. When the coaches have told me that he's potentially going to move to right tackle, or the coaches told me they're going to give me a fair battle and I think I'm better than him, I think those conversations are definitely on par. And in his talent level, I think it 100% makes sense.
I was told last night by somebody that Nick Brooks is 6'8", 360, and Becton's working right now to change his body.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if he, what we saw, the big note, I literally random. I just saw, it's so weird how YouTube works. I just saw your short from fall camp last year. And you said the first note was Gilbo playing inside. The second note was Matthew Golden playing slot. And the third note was Cam Williams shed a lot of weight, and running behind the right side of the offensive line behind Campbell and Williams is going to be great in 2024. And the first thing came to mind was, gosh, remember a year ago, there was questions about Cam Williams' weight, and then you go into fall camp, and one of your top 3 takeaways from the first day or the second day of camp was Cam Williams is lean. Like, it can happen that quick. It's the same thing with like Ty Anthony. Like, he got onto campus and within 4 months, he gained 23 pounds. Like, these things can happen quickly, especially with baby fat coming off.
That was another note from the war room last night. I don't think Ty Anthony Smith weighs 220.
Really?
Yeah. I think he probably needs to get about 10 pounds on him to weigh 220. And
well, I mean, he's a guy that, like, he was listed at 198. I remember it because he was the biggest discrepancy. I think he went 198 to 223 from the spring roster to the fall roster.
Yeah,
that was the biggest difference.
Little bit of fibbing on that thing. I've been
yeah,
told.
But he went through a season. He went through a full season. He did. Imagine this: you go through the full off season, you're weight training, you're gaining weight, you're pumping iron, getting up. Then you go through a whole season where you're practicing every single day running. He may weigh 210 now.
Yep. We have Jake Miranda on the chat over here. I see that about Osborne. Yeah, so we started off the show talking about having our Jvon Osborne, not our Javian Osborne pity party. If you want to rewind it, there, Jake. Yeah, but we're on to final takes now. But I think it's easy it's easy to envision Ojo playing early, and the more and more I'm watching him, the more I'm putting the profile together on him, the more excited that I get about the idea of Felix Ojo. And I dude, whenever I get excited about guys, and then I hear them saying that they want to play early, I love to hear that. I just you love to hear that confidence in them whenever they've whenever they've actually displayed the requisite traits that you would think that they would need to be able to come in and do it, to have the confidence to say, dude, I want to come in and play early. That's basically saying I want to come in and be out here in 3 years.
Yep.
I'd love to hear it.
I think a lot of those high end guys think that, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what high end guys are high end guys. I mean, you want them, right? You want them,
of course.
Do you know what I always want?
Steak?
No, poncho.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, clothes from Poncho Outdoors are just absolutely the best. It's going to be funny, Cody. Like, people are going to look at us at Indy and just think that we're walking poncho commercials. I'm like, in my bag, dude, I'm probably going to bring like 4 denim Western shirts. I'll bring 3 hoodies, and that's enough for my whole time there and more. I don't have to bring anything except poncho. And that's the coolest thing about it. You can wear it, you can wear it in a setting like the NFL Combine. You can wear it at your, gosh, Cody was texting me the other day about, he was watching my church on stream, and he's like, dude, he's like, Pastor Jared's got that sick poncho shirt. I'm always talking to him about these poncho clothes. He's like, dude, poncho should sponsor me. He's like, I'm always telling people to buy this stuff, because whenever you experience Poncho Outdoors and this clothing that they make for men, this outstanding clothing that's warranted for life. If you ever have an issue, you can just send it right back. You don't want anything else. It's just the highest quality stuff there is. And we always kind of say, it's like, look, you're not going to get it on sale. You're not going to be. It's much more likely that you're going to find the clothes are sold out than you're going to find them on sale. But one thing I did realize, Cody, is they do something kind of neat. If you buy more than one shirt, they give you an option to give you like a hat or a T-shirt or stuff like that. So they always do give you kind of nice freebies and stuff like that. So I have a ton of like poncho hats and shirts and things, and just a great sponsor. We cannot thank those guys enough at Poncho Outdoors. And as we see, I guess for the Final Takes Friday, a little bit slower than usual tonight, but creeping up towards 400 of you live here. But certainly happy to have you, and all of you are piled into the Specs chat line and kind of engaging with the show through that. So let's make sure and say thanks to our good friends over at Specs.
With hundreds of wines on sale, Specs is turning these aisles into the ultimate love story.
Uncork something special during Specs' huge wine sale, going on now. Specs, the fun starts here.
All right, final takes. Get your votes in. Because the winner of the final takes gets free shrimp cocktail at the combine. And what we'll do is we'll film it. We'll film us eating it, and we'll put it up on the Football with Friends X account. That's at FWF_OB is a good place to follow us there, because that is spicy shrimp cocktail. And maybe you'll definitely enjoy watching Cody eat it, because he doesn't like spicy stuff, but it's a different kind of spice.
I love that. I love it though. It's a little horsey hot. I love it.
Because it's not like oily spice that gets on your tongue. No. It's like this stuff that blasts up into your nasal cavity. It's the weirdest feeling. All right. Next final takes. You want to toss one? You want me to toss one?
I'll toss one in here. I don't watch a lot of shows, but I just turned this one on and I watched it. It's a 4-part show on Netflix that I watched last night. You have watched Surviving Blackhawk Down?
No, I have not watched it.
It's the obviously Blackhawk Down with the Battle of Mogadishu in 1993 in Somalia. It is, Alex, it is maybe one of the greatest. I don't know if you want to call it a film. It's like a 4-part series thing. Is it a lot different than the movie? Honestly, I never watched the movie.
Oh, okay.
I was young when that came out, but I never watched it. But this, it's a lot of the actual Rangers and Delta Force are like in it, talking about it as it happens. They're interviewing people that were over there in Somalia when it happened, like that were in the village and that were fighting against the Americans at the time and things like this. It's about, if you sit down and watch it front to back, the 4 episodes, maybe it's 3. I think it's 3 actually. Front to back, it's about 2 hours and 40 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes. And it is, I'm telling you, fantastic.
Task Force Ranger, dude. There's some bad dudes. There's some, but yeah, that was a. What was it? That was in the early 90s, right?
93.
Yeah. Big in Somalia, and there was a bit like it's a big civil war. It was a cluster, but that was a great book and a great movie. So I would certainly love to. I love books like that. I'd probably read 2 of them a month.
Did you read this? Was there a book about? Did you read the book too?
I think with Black Hawk Down, I just saw the movie, but there was a book about it. I'm sure. I'm sure. All right, let's go to the next one here. How about Josh Pate? So I was listening to his show. He says somebody was asking in the chat of his show, I guess, he was saying he's just so sick of hearing about Arch Manning already.
Really?
Yeah. A guy from down in Houston. So I'm so sick of hearing about Arch Manning. That's all I hear is Arch Manning. And he says, what are we supposed to even expect of this guy? And he's like, well, you're not sick of Arch Manning. You're sick of the media oversaturation of Arch Manning, the same way that people weren't sick of Tim Tebow. Dude, sick of the media always talking about Tim Tebow. But like, it's not like Arch Manning's done anything wrong. Arch Manning has done everything by the book and right. And he's,
I'll be honest with you, Alex. I don't even think we've got the tip of the iceberg on the Arch conversation.
Okay.
As far as
He's
people,
a guy from Houston, so he's probably an Aggie.
but cool. But like, nonetheless, don't care. My point, like, so I had this thought yesterday when when Kay Adams had Sark on, right? And the Arch thing happened, and then the spring game being canceled kind of broke, I guess, on a national scale. In that, like, people are like, well, I mean, we broke that, onwards, like we broke that like a month ago, like that's been known. And it made me really like take half step back and go, you got to realize that we are in the Longhorn ethos every single day. We're on Orange Bloods. We're talking about the Longhorns. We're reading about them. We're researching. We're talking, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
We're on here every day, flapping our gums for an hour
every day. Like,
Yeah.
if anybody like knows that the spring game, obviously it's going to be the people that are intaking this information, us, the board, et cetera. The national media, though, like, that's not who we are.
They've heard about spring games. This cock made me think that Matt Rule said. No one else has come. Yeah.
That's it. That's all they've heard. So when that breaks, that's that. And taking that thought into account, that we're in the Longhorn ethos, I don't even think that we've hit the tip of the iceberg in the Arch Manning conversation. The Arch Manning conversation will you hit the tip of the iceberg when, your wife, my wife, for example, that doesn't consume any football content, asks, who is Arch Manning? At that point, that's when you'll know. When somebody that doesn't watch football all the time asks who Arch Manning is, or you can't go on ESPN and it's not Arch Manning. Like, it's like, if you go on there, like within 10 minutes, who's going to pop up? LeBron, Ohtani, like something like this, right? When that is we ain't even close to that yet. But tell you what, August 30th, he goes for 3 or 4 tugs. That's the tip of the iceberg. Then it's going to begin, and then people are going to absolutely, non-Texas fans, absolutely going to hate it. But I don't, as far as this guy saying that, and I know this isn't even your question, but as far as that guy saying, I'm so sick of hearing, you haven't heard nothing yet, buddy.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I wouldn't say that my wife asking about him, because we're talking about
your wife. Yeah,
she went out of her way to get both kids burn orange license number 16 jerseys for Christmas. So I mean, she's ready. I mean, she's been. I don't want to out her as any kind of, the way she feels about Quinn Ewers or anything like that. I'll just say, like, she's been excited to see number 16 for quite a while.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right.
My wife, on the other hand, couldn't tell you a single Longhorn.
I have, well, dude, I mean, yeah.
But that's the point, though. What she will ask me, she's not here right now, but she'll ask me, I would bet you November, October. If Texas is undefeated, November will come around and he's in the Heisman race and he does something sick against A&M or some.
Is he related to Peyton?
Who's that? Who's I thought Manning retired. Who's the Arch? Yeah. I'll hear it. I guarantee it. That's when you'll know. That's when you'll be like, darn, I'm hearing it too much. You can't go out to dinner and someone knows you have something to do with the Longhorns and they go, what do you think of Arch? I'm like, what do you think I think of Arch, dude? Like, you know exactly the conversations I'm talking about.
I see we have a super chat from Jose Rodriguez. Jose, we're not ignoring you here, brother. We're going to get right to it as soon as we just get Cody's take on this. So Josh Pate said his expectation of Arch Manning in year one is to have Texas in the hunt for a CFP berth at season's end.
Yeah, sure. I think that's a moderate take. Like, of course, that's the expectation. They've done it the last 2 years, and now everyone thinks that the quarterback is upgraded. Why wouldn't that be the expectation?
Yeah, I kind of think it's a very lukewarm.
Yeah, lukewarm. That's a great way to say it. Moderate take, lukewarm take.
Okay. Jose Rodriguez
it should be taken into account because, like I said, we're in the ethos of the Longhorns. He's not. He's in the national side. So the national people are saying that this is a take. Is that a take? Like, that's them saying that maybe they don't think that the team is actually as high thought of as, I guess, as the Longhorn community does, which is
or the college football community. And I mean, Texas is going to be the number two team in the nation starting out next year.
Yeah, they're number 2 in odds right now.
All right. And gosh, and then week 1 comes along. And you're just like, it's going to be a madhouse, dude. Okay. Jose Rodriguez with a super chat. Thank you, brother. We if you guys have super chats, man, shoot them in here to us. We'll get right to them. 499. What y'all wearing out? Start one, bench one, drop one. Style edition. Exotic skin boots, dress shoes, or fancy sneakers. Well, here's the thing, Jose Rodriguez. Both exotic skin boots and fancy sneakers are dress shoes, as far as I'm concerned. So,
Really?
Yeah.
You coward.
What? I am wearing, okay, so the one I'm dropping is dress shoes. Okay. And then I'm starting the exotic skin boots. I'll wear the, like, I guess I don't have them anymore. I had a pair of the alligator ones, but I ended up giving them to one of my cousins because they were like I'd ruined them, and he said he was gonna get them fixed at the boot hospital, and he has them now. But I'd love to have some more of that Cayman. Have you ever had the Cayman ones? I think they wear out a little too quick, but they feel great. And then fancy sneakers, I'd love. So I mean, I don't really have that many fancy sneakers. I have this one pair of shoes. Cody probably knows the ones I'm talking about. That like they're these Hardens that are probably from like 6 years ago. That I love them so much that I bought like 6 pairs of them.
The black ones.
Yeah, they're like they're fancy sneakers. I think I have 2 more pairs left that I haven't, I haven't opened yet, and they're impossible to find now. So yeah, I'll go exotic skin boots, and I guess I'll bench the sneakers.
I'll cut the sneakers. I'll start the exotic skin boots, and I'll bench the dress shoes only because I think that you could also utilize the dress shoes as exotic skin dress shoes, which I do have a burnt orange pair of.
All right, fair enough. All right, very, very, very good question. Very unexpected as usual from our friend Jose Rodriguez. Have time for a couple more final takes here. Cody, how's the voting looking so far?
I don't have YouTube up. Let me pull it up quick.
Okay, let's see here. Final takes. Anwar reported last night the earliest CJ Baxter can return is maybe mid-2025 season. Does Texas need to get RB help in the portal?
They need to go get the white kid from West Virginia.
I thought Jaheim White, not like a Scattaboo kind of.
White. No. Sorry, I was like, I didn't want to. I couldn't remember in my head if it was. Raheem. I couldn't remember if it was Raheem or Jaheim, so I just said the white. And then I realized after I said it that sounded not great.
That's fine.
They need to go get Jaheim White from West Virginia to come in and average 6 yards per carry. That's what they need to go ahead.
Dude, just pay him like $300K. That's more than he's making there, right?
Probably. But McAfee could probably give him 301 if you want. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. It's not great. I know it was a multi-ligament thing, but if it's going to be a year plus, that's not a good sign for a knee, especially in a running back.
It was a bad one though. Wasn't it like LCL, MCL, PCL, like
multi-ligament? Usually, if it's just ACL, it's like these guys can get back rather quick. But multi-ligament scares you. So I think you take the approach of caution, which in the NFL we've seen not happen with New Orleans and Kendre Miller. We've seen
Jay Brooks in Carolina.
And not happen with Jonathan Brooks in Carolina, and now they're going to
see the news that he's going to miss 2025.
Yeah. So that's you don't need. I mean, in the NFL, you kind of need to play Jonathan Brooks, otherwise you got to play Raheem Blackshear. In college, you can kind of have a backload of guys, and I think that they're starting to get that. We'll see what James Simon looks like. Obviously, Jarek Gibson had opportunities this past year. Traven Wisner obviously proved he could take the load. If they go out and get one more guy in the portal, I think that's all this tells us, is that they probably need to go at least add a body in the portal.
And we're thinking about it through the context of a Quinn Ewers offense, right? In an Arch Manning offense, wherever you had Sark on the Kay Adams show yesterday, just talking about, how's the offense going to change? Kay Adams was asking, and he's like, well, you see how they See, like, just look at the Super Bowl. Look at Jalen Hurts. Look at how he's used. Look how, they use Lamar Jackson's legs or Josh Allen or all that. Like, he's still like, Arch is going to run next year. And I think that the threat of a running quarterback really helps out your running game in spades anyway. So maybe we could see more consistency out of a guy like Wisner. It would tilt me endlessly for him to just turn into Superman versus A&M and shrink into, shrink to play so puny against like Georgia and stuff. It'd be like, how does this happen? So more consistency would be good out of him. I think that they would certainly be well off to take somebody in the portal if they possibly can. Let's see. Any more? Let's see. Final takes. How about this one? Greg Cosell, I saw. He was on Ross Tucker's college football draft show. He has Tyler Shough as his QB2. Has this all gone too far? Way too far.
Give me a week.
Tyler Shough.
Give me a week. Give me a week. I gotta see this. I gotta see this kid in person.
But like up close and personal.
Again, yeah. I mean, we saw him once. I was not impressed, but I gotta see him again. I guess. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. You may say it again. I don't get it. I remember 3 years ago or 2 years ago
when he was at Tech,
when he got the way too early mocks. The way too early mocks had him going around. Like, do you remember this at all? I remember his name. Yeah. The reason I remember it is because I was doing it. I was collecting the data for Player Profiler for the mock draft tool, and it was like I couldn't say his name. I was like, "How the hell you say this kid's name? Is it Shough? What is it?" And then I heard it was Shough, and he was a first round conversation guy though.
Yeah.
And then obviously transferred, and then now he's 36 years old, and I was not. I mean, it's the same thing though, Alex. Like the Jackson Dart thing. He's not special. And you're hearing people since the Senior Bowl come out and be like, "Yeah, man, he's QB2," and you're like, "What?" And then there's people that are like, multiple people have said Shough is like in their top 4, and now Greg Cosell, who I respect, comes out and says this. Who was the quarterback? Was it 2 years ago? I was standing next to Greg Cosell at the combine, and he had said. I was standing next to him. He wasn't talking to anybody, and I just like stood next to him because I knew who he was, and I wanted to like see if he said anything to this quarterback. And I can't remember who it was. It was not a good quarterback. And he like turns to me and he goes, "I think this kid's going to be good." I don't want to out him, but I can't remember the damn kid's name. 2023.
Was it the Senior Bowl?
No, we were at the combine.
And it was Cosell who said it?
Yes.
What, one like Pickett or something?
No. It was not a top of the line guy. If I see his name, I'll remember it. 3 years ago. Or was it 2 years ago?
No, I don't know.
Clayton Tune.
Clayton Tune. Okay. Well, that was a bad.
He turns to me and he goes, "This kid's going to be good. He's going to make a team." And I was like, "What?"
Okay. Yeah. Clayton Tune. You should have known that was bad.
Well, I'm just like, that's the thing that like tells you like he's long time, right? Long time, Greg Cosell. Known for
NFL films. I mean, right.
But everyone has, wrong takes. I don't know. We'll see. A lot of people have come around this Shough thing. McShay is one of them, obviously. Now Greg Cosell. If this thing warrants any gasoline or peanut oil, it'll happen this next week. That's for sure.
All right. We got time for one more final take here. How about this one? So Daniel Jeremiah's conference call yesterday. He said on his conference call that Matthew Golden is going to run a lot faster than most people think. A lot of people now have Matthew Golden. If we don't consider Travis Hunter as a wide receiver, people are now starting to put Matthew Golden as wide receiver 2 in the class. I think DJ has him there.
Yeah. As far as this goes, what's your prediction for his 40? I'll just say, F it. 4.44 is what I have. So I think that's.
You think that's faster than what people think?
No, I think that's probably what people think is faster than what people think.
I'll go 4-4. I'll go 4-4-1.
I feel like people probably think like, oh, this guy looks like he's going to run faster than 4.50. And I think it's like, well, he's going to run faster than that. And you have to remember, like, in these conversations, like Daniel Jeremiah saying he's going to run a lot faster than people think. Like, he might think that a lot of people think he's going to run a 4.50. So a lot faster than that is 4.40.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is that like is that baked in? Right.
It's not that big of a number difference, but like to the general population, they're like, I don't know. But like for us, we understand that that's, a difference.
Well, we're going to be there. Now, you can email us, fwfemails@gmail.com. You can find us on X at Cody Carpentier, at Alex Dunlap NFL. The show's Twitter handle is at FWF_OB, where we'll have no show Mondays. We'll be traveling to Indy. We'll have shows on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There could be some scheduling issues as far as the time that the show comes on, but it's going to be at about the same time. And we'll make sure that they're scheduled here on YouTube so you guys will know, and we'll be able to pass that information along on Tuesday when we hop on and give you the whole breakdown of the biggest day. What is this? You got to be kidding me.
24 votes.
In the poll. Did you vote for yourself?
Just from my main account.
Oh, so I would have won. All right. Take that off. I don't want to hear that guy talking when I'm golly. I would have won that shrimp cocktail. All right, it's another tie for final takes. Celtic, dude, we've tied for 4 weeks in a row. People are going to think it's a bit now. Maybe the chat's just trying to do it to us. And now there's 4 people watching, only 24 people vote. Hey, we need more of you to click like and subscribe to the channel than we did have you vote in that thing, okay? We come in, we get in, we talk football, we get out. We're here to respect your time. We're here to give you as much info as we possibly can. We love you guys. We want to thank you for helping the show grow and grow and grow and grow. Even here on a Friday night in the off season. It's like, it's gonna be a ton of you that watch this, and we can't thank you enough. All right. So
we're back on what, Tuesday?
Have a great weekend. Travel safe. Hope we travel safe. Cody, you travel safe, brother. We'll miss you guys. We love you very much. All right. God bless you. For Cody, I'm Alex. We're done.